So today we have a slightly different program from what we normally have on the channel. I am going to meet the 2022 World Brewers Cup champion Sherry from Taiwan. I'm here in Taipei and now I'm going to go out to her studio and see how she brews her regular morning coffee.
Hi!
And we're lucky because Sherry is going to show us how she's brewing her morning coffee. So this will not be the competition routine. This will be an insight into how a world champion is just brewing coffee when it's just for herself to wake up in the morning. So Sherry, can you tell us a bit about what you're going to show us today?
Today I will use the Hario switch, which can use the immersion and percolation brewing method. And then I will use K-Ultra hand grinder. And I will brew the Brazilian coffee, and this is my normal daily coffee. The flavor is nutty and chocolate, but the interesting thing is the flavor also has some citrus notes. So it's really balanced, really sweet. So I will use 16 grams of coffee and 240 grams of water. And the grind size is K-Ultra number 7, which is my cupping grind size. For me, my daily coffee is, I prefer the flavor is smoother and not too ferment. So I would prefer like Ethiopia wash or like Brazilian or Guatemala coffee. Yes. So I will rinse the paper filter first. And the water temperature, I will use 90 degrees. So the first pour, I will use percolation. Brew to 50 grams of water. And then you can smell it. The aroma will show you some nutty and really, really sweet caramel and chocolate, like milk chocolate. And then after 30 seconds, I will brew the second pour. And we brew to 150 grams. I prefer to smell of each step, and then you can feel the aroma will change. Like this step will show some citrus notes. And this last pour, we close to immersion weight, and then pour to 240 grams. And then after 1 minute, 30 seconds, I will let the coffee out. Okay. So the total time is around 1 minute, 45 seconds. It's like almond, walnut, and milk chocolate. It's really sweet. Okay.
All right.
Cheers.
Cheers.
It's really sweet.
Yeah. Extremely sweet. Has a little bit of the Brazilian nuttiness as well.
Yes.
It's more sweet than I expected.
Yeah.
A bit more citric acid as well.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
And when you're brewing your morning coffee versus the coffee you present on the stage, do you have different goals for it? Like, let's say your morning coffee, do you go for delicate flavors or what are you looking for?
My daily coffee, I prefer more like floral and more sweeter, and like this Brazilian coffee or Ethiopia wash. I want to wake up more smoother, not too strong. And then until at afternoon, I want to more strong flavor, so I will choose like more fermented processed coffee. Yes.
No anaerobic fermentation first thing in the morning?
Oh no. No, it's too hard.
So I guess if we were to make this a competition coffee, if you were to brew this at a Brewers Cup, I guess the first step would be to choose a different coffee altogether. Do you think this would stand a chance at the world stage or even national?
I think maybe this is more suitable for barista championship. Yeah, because brewers need to find some like more special flavor. Yeah, but this kind of flavor, if you use the milk beverage, that will be really delicious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For the ratio, this is a 1:15 ratio. I saw in your previous competitions you've been using 1:14 when you won the World Championship,
Yeah.
and 1:12 when you were competing for the first time on the world stage.
Yeah.
How come there's the difference in strength? 1:12, 1:14 would be considered a rather strong coffee.
Because I roast a very light roasting profile, and then it will show like more fruity, more floral, and more intense of the flavor. So especially the body. Well, I want my coffee, the body will be rounder and smoother, so I will reduce the water and coffee ratio at that time. Yeah.
Some people say that at competitions it's more important to be able to highlight the flavor notes. So is that also a consideration for you when you're using the stronger ratio in the brewing competition compared to everyday coffee?
Actually, no, because I think we need to focus on the quality of the flavor, not too intense. If the coffee is too intense, people will drink like it's really hard to drink. Yeah, for the judges and for the normal people, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think we need to focus on the quality, not just for the intense of the flavor.
And in coffee over the last years, there's been a lot of talk about higher extraction being better. But when I analyze your recipes from your various competitions, and today it seems like you're not going for super high extraction, but more for a kind of middle of the road. What is your philosophy about the extraction yields and TDS in the cup?
For me, the comfortable TDS is around 1.3 to 1.4. Yeah, for me. But yeah, it depends on different coffee. Yeah, if the Brazilian coffee, I would prefer brew to 1.2. It's more smoother.
Yeah.
Yeah, not too strong. But for some geisha, right, I want to focus on the flavor. That the flavor more obvious. Like I will use 1.5. Yeah.
And what about the extraction yield? Do you also believe that it has to be above 22%, or what is your target here?
No. No. I will more focus on TDS.
Yeah.
Yeah, TDS. Yeah. But it's just a reference. How can I say? You cannot just focus on, okay, you brew 1.2, I brew 1.2, but you're not taste good. I'm taste good. Yeah, you cannot say that. It's just a reference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good to know. Let's say we have this coffee here, we just tasted it and we like it, and you're going to take it to a more serious level, work with it on a competition basis. What would be your first step to look at? Would it be the brewing structure, the pours? Would it be the water? Or what would be the first step you go to?
I would check the like different grind size or different grinder, because grinder will change a lot. Yeah. So if the grinder can shows a this coffee different way, and then it's the better way, I will like try to use the other grinder or mix together. Yeah, because for me, K Ultra, like this coffee, K Ultra can bring out really sweeter of this coffee, but if this coffee can bring out more delicate flavor, K Ultra is not easy to show. So I prefer maybe we can use another grind size to check, a hand grinder to check again. Yeah.
So for instance, you would perhaps choose the ZP6 for something more floral, and then the K Ultra for a coffee that is more sweetness and body forward. Is that how you would go about it?
Yeah, yeah. So after you change the different grinder and check the flavor and what is the potential of this coffee. So after you find the coffee flavor, and then you can choose what kind of the dripper you want to brew. Yeah.
And since you're also a roaster now and you're roasting your own coffee, would you go about choosing the water? Would you roast to a specific water profile, or would you do your standard roast and then you would choose the water after to complement that coffee?
It will depend on what country I will use for these beans. Yeah, it will shows different flavor. Like in Taipei, the water is more softer. It's around 60 to 70 ppm. Yeah, so the roasting profile will be different. So if I go to Europe, the ppm is very high, and I will change the roast profile again. Yeah.
So just for the viewers out there, would you make it lighter or would you make it darker for the European market? What would you?
I will prefer use a lighter profile.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because the harder water can extract more, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
You're choosing a hybrid method here. How come you're not just using pour over or full immersion? You're using this hybrid approach?
So I use this Harrier switch, and which is you can control the percolation and immersion weight at the same brewer, at the same dripper. For this coffee, I use percolation for the first and second step, and the last step I use immersion. And because for the Brazilian coffee, it will reduce the TDS.
One thing you've done before on the world stage is to use different temperatures of the coffee brewing. When you're brewing at home in the morning, will you also go to a step like that?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes. Especially for the floral notes coffee. Yes. For example, for washed Ethiopian coffee, it will bring out more delicate white floral or some orange blossom, something like this floral notes. It's at the first pour, I will use a lower temperature to blooming, and it will keep the delicate notes, especially for the floral notes. It will keep more longer. And then after the blooming, you need to use the very high temperature to extract the flavoring, the intense of the flavor, and then the sweetness as well.
And for the practical aspect of this, do you have a special technique? Do you just add cold water to your kettle, or will you use two different kettles, or what is the best way to go about it?
Two kettles will be more convenient. Yeah. So if you don't have two kettles, maybe you can pour a little bit water at the other server, and then let it cool down.
Yeah.
And then you can use the water to pour the first step. Yeah, and the same, if you want to use the lower temperature at the last step, you can use another server to pour the last step.
Okay, thank you so much for showing us how you're brewing your morning coffee. It's been a real pleasure to be here. If people want to learn more about you, where should they go?
I have my personal Instagram. You can find SHERRYCIPE. And my brand is Sherry Selection. Yeah, you can search on the Instagram.
Yeah.
And then now I have my studio and roastery in Taipei. So if you want to find me, please contact me and DM me on Instagram. Yeah.
Okay. And you do training as well and cuppings, is that correct?
Yes. I have a small space to do training, and then cupping space and coffee course and open cassette as well.
Wow, okay. So there you have it. If you want to learn from a world champion, then you just have to come to Taipei, and then you might have a chance. Thank you so much, Sherry.
Thank you.